So one of the things I found most interesting about this trip was how we got to stay in two different cities. Shenzhen and Hong Kong were very different. On one hand, Hong Kong was a very European-influenced city. It was under British rule for about 150 years. And then you have Shenzhen, which is this baby city. It's been around for 30 years. It's this manufacturing center of China. And so me and Jeff got to go to the top of, I believe it was Tangling Mountain. We got to go oversee all of Shenzhen while we were on our internship. And then we also got to go to Victoria's Peak in Hong Kong to see the whole city. So it was one of my favorite parts of the trip was taking in the view of, you know, these two massive cities, probably the biggest cities I've been to in my entire life.
Hong Kong prides itself in its state-of-the-art skyscrapers, and while staying in Hong Kong Harbour, we were fortunate enough to witness the light show that illuminated dozens of buildings on Hong Kong Harbour. And to put together such a show, careful planning and organization was really necessary. And additionally, this display demonstrated Hong Kong's sophistication, economic, and technological success. And in my opinion, from looking at the light show, the most impressive building was the Bank of China Tower, and it could be recognized by its sharp angles, diamond-shaped sides, and futuristic design. And it could easily be spotted in the light show with large flashing strips of lights running down the sides of the building programmed alongside the light show music.
Air quality in Hong Kong was truly abysmal. One of the lecturers presented a graph that showed that Hong Kong had 3 times as many air pollutants as New York City. The reason the air quality was so bad is all the manufacturing facilities across the border in Shenzhen, and also there was a coal-fired power plant nearby that we also visited. We also learned that 1,600 people die each year from the air pollution in Hong Kong. But even though the haze is pretty bad by our standards, we got pretty lucky on our trip. One of the students that we traveled around with from the Chinese University of Hong Kong said that he had never seen so many blue skies in a row.
Hong Kong's metro system is one of the best that I've seen. It totally beats any US metro system. You can get anywhere in Hong Kong that you like for about $2 at most. That is US dollars, not Hong Kong dollars. And once you get there, you can go anywhere. Fair warning though, the trains are very crowded as it is the largest metro system by capacity.
One of the really cool things about Hong Kong is the huge shopping culture. One of the first things you notice when you walk into the city is all the malls and street markets. And one of the things we found out from a financial advisor is that in Hong Kong, all the products are tax and duty free. When I got back from Hong Kong and came back to America, I told my grandmother this and she was fully aware. She even told me that like in the olden days, her friends would go to Hong Kong to buy expensive jewelries for cheaper prices than they could get in America. The malls are really decked out with like ridiculous architecture, and they're 13 floors high, and the decor is really cool.
Buddhism is one of the major religions in China, and we visited 2 Buddhist temples on our trip. The first temple that we went to was in Shenzhen in a botanical gardens. The temple was larger than I expected it to be, very ornate with a beautiful view, and a lot of it was open to the outside. Inside the temple, people were praying, lighting incense, and tossing coins at a tiered statue. In Hong Kong, we took a day trip to Lantao Island to see the Big Buddha. Like the botanical gardens that held the first temple that we visited, Lantao Island was a beautiful area. The Buddhist temple that we went to there was a lot smaller than the first one, but it was just as ornate. The main attraction of the area, however, was the Big Buddha. We had to climb up a lot of stairs to get to this giant Buddha on a hill, and it was very impressive once we got up there.
So during our trip, we visited 5 universities in Shenzhen and Hong Kong. In Shenzhen, we visited the Shenzhen Institute of Advanced Technology, and in Hong Kong, we visited City University of Hong Kong, Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, University of Hong Kong, and Chinese University of Hong Kong, where we stayed for a week. At each university, we got a chance to meet some of their faculty and hear about their work, particularly in alternative energy sources. And at Chinese University of Hong Kong, we had a chance to get to know some of their students who showed us around the city and came with us to a lot of our talks at other universities. And we got to learn a lot about student life in Hong Kong and how it differed from like an American university.
While visiting Shenzhen, China, we had the opportunity to explore the Shenzhen Institute of Advanced Technology, or SIAD. SIAD was founded in 2006 by the Chinese Academy of Sciences to promote research and research-industrial partnerships. When we were at SIAD, we learned about several of the research frontiers that China is exploring. One of them was thin-film solar technology, which represents a promising way of harvesting solar energy to use as an alternative energy source. The speed at which China created SIAD and the size of the research institute there suggested that China is very interested in pursuing its alternative energy options.
During the international experience trip, we got to do several hands-on labs. In one lab, we built dye-sensitized solar cells. This included cutting conductive glass plates, depositing, smoothing, and annealing the titanium dioxide film, carbon coating the counter electrode, and staining the cells with different dyes. We tested many dyes, including blueberry, cranberry, and pomegranate juice, as well as our own chlorophyll dye. Overall, it was fun to hypothesize and measure which dye would result in the best cell performance. In another lab, we constructed a gas diffusion electrode, which is a hydrogen fuel cell with a cathode that is exposed to the air and an anode that is composed of a porous aluminum. By using a voltmeter and attaching a small fan to the circuit, we were able to verify if we constructed the cells correctly.
This summer I had the opportunity to intern at DuPont, a photovoltaic manufacturer based in Hong Kong and Shenzhen. Working at DuPont this summer was a very exciting experience, and it was really awesome to be able to be surrounded by the culture and the people of Hong Kong. In addition to that, I was able to contribute to a project that the result of which was delivered to the CEO, and I was really proud of my role in that. And working overseas in general was a very eye-opening experience, and I would certainly recommend it to anyone else interested in ultimately working overseas.
Hong Kong really exposed us to different types of food. One example was when we went to Mongkok, which is really famous for their Hong Kong street food. Here's just a couple pictures that we took of famous Hong Kong food, like egg tarts, xiajiao, fengzhua, and shrimp chang.
One of the best things about this trip was the real understanding of the social and environmental problems that people in Asia, specifically Hong Kong and China, are facing. And one of that is the high quantities of food waste. Due to the increased urbanization that's Asia's seen in recent years, there's just been a lot of consumption, and as a result of that high quantities of food waste, they don't have the infrastructure to dispose of it properly. So one of the technologies that I found really cool that we talked about was waste-to-energy technology, moving from incineration plants to actually being able to take waste and change that into a renewable energy source. So that's just one of the innovations that I think Asia could really see a lot of potential.